welcome along to Bangkok ChitChat with Andrew and myself, Andy. And it's, of course, the YouTube channel from Thailand, all about Thailand. Today, we're going to be talking to Richard, and it's another Hua Hin Report. Last time we spoke, we were all hoping, I think, deep inside, that the figures might get a little bit less COVID-wise, but that's not exactly what's happened. Over the last few weeks, the average per day of new cases has been around about 21,000. Good side, vaccines seem to be running now. There seems to be more vaccines around and more people getting at least their first jab. Hello, Richard. Welcome to the show. How are you and how's Hua Hin?
Oh, very well, Andy, actually. Good to see you again.
Yeah.
And Hua Hin, of course, is very quiet, but no surprises there. Still, most of the restaurants are closed. If all the restaurants are closed, but they're just doing a few takeaways as usual. And people are really struggling. What else has been going on? I mean, there's been a few things going on around Hua Hin because of COVID. We obviously heard news a couple of weeks ago that the ferry between Hua Hin and Pattaya has permanently been cancelled.
Oh, really?
Because yes, it has. The Royal Line, is it Royal Line used to do that between Hua Hin and Pattaya?
Yeah.
It was really a nice little boat service, took about 2 hours.
Yeah.
And it was quite popular, but of course no international tourists, and they are not going to resume.
Yeah.
They announced that a couple of weeks ago.
Going with that ferry, the ferry price, I thought, if I remember rightly, it was like 1,200 baht, 1,400 baht one way, or
It was
I
about
knew it was quite
1,200
expensive.
each way.
1,200.
Yes, it was.
That's quite a lot of money.
Yes, it is. But of course, they're trying to tap the tourists as usual, and there's just no way. And I guess it's not easy, and it's an expensive operation.
Can you fly from Hua Hin to Pattaya?
Well, no, not at the moment. Certainly not. No, and there weren't any flights before either. So it's about 120 kilometers, of course, across the Gulf. So I guess that's why it's a bit expensive.
Yeah.
And that boat doesn't hang out, it didn't hang around. It was quite a quick boat.
Yeah. I mean, excellent for a good way from going A to B, I suppose.
Yeah, but the thing is, the difference with the flights, if you're to take a flight, you've got to get to the airport. Then you've got to wait to go through the security and stuff. Then you've got to fly there. Then you've got to go through the security and stuff again at the other end. Then you've got to get a taxi from Utapao into Pattaya. So you'd be quick at driving.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would, 120 miles or something, kilometers.
Yeah. Well, it's about a 5-hour drive from here. So yes, it would equal out to be about the same, wouldn't it, if you flew
less stress
with all the weights.
I know you've got some other news topics you want to talk about, but let's just get that horrible COVID out of the way, because while we're at it, obviously questions, vaccines and availability, and are they getting jabbed, and which one is being, what is happening? We know what's happening in Bangkok, so what's happening in Hua Hin?
Well, I think the latest news that just came out yesterday, let me read this to you. It says the Thai Ministry of Transport and Tourism, Hua Hin, will be open to foreigners without quarantine from October. This was issued yesterday in Thai, and we've had it all translated and everything. Now, what appears to have happened here is that there's been a real push by a group called Recharge Hua Hin. And of course, they want to see Hua Hin reopen to international tourism. So it appears that this has sort of popped up online yesterday. Now, a few minutes after we saw this, my friend contacted somebody in the travel industry who just happened to be in a meeting with a local TAT who didn't know anything about this. So, so what we're going to say here is that there is a push to try and get Hua Hin open for October the 1st. Certainly the Recharge Hua Hin project is really trying to get some ground and persuade the government to open the place. But what it also says here is that Recharge Hua Hin is trying to persuade the government to give more vaccines to Hua Hin because they want to try and vaccinate 70% of the population. Well, they reckon they've done 30. I don't think they've even done that. When you look at all the people around the back and the country, local people, I doubt they've done that many, but they are going at it. And, people have had vaccines recently, more recently Pfizer. the local Hua Hin hospital was initially giving Sinovac as dose 1, followed by AstraZeneca as dose 2.
Mm-hmm.
That happened in Hua Hin and up in Cha Am. And I know people that have had that. And I've got a friend, not girlfriend, I've got a friend, she works in a hospital.
Be careful.
Yeah. So she started off with the Sinovac vaccine, went back, had the AstraZeneca, and then just recently she's just had the other one, the Pfizer one.
Blimey.
So she's walking around like a fruit salad at the moment, I think, in the hospital. She works in the hospital anyway. So she's vaccinated to the max. But, not many people can get that kind of coverage and get the vaccines.
Yeah.
And if you're over 60, like a lot of us here, we've been able to get vaccinated.
Yeah.
But many people who are under that age have really been struggling, whether you're Thai or from overseas.
Yeah.
It's been a real challenge to get vaccinated.
I want to bring Andrew in just for
I haven't been able to.
I'll ask you a question.
I want to bring Andrew in. Go on.
Well, no, my question about this opening on the 1st of October is fine, but that doesn't mean they'll accept anybody from anywhere because, first of all, Thailand is on a no-fly zone to many countries. There's no flights leaving for Thailand, I understand. We're in the red zone.
No, they're flying into Phuket. Yeah, but
other than Phuket, yeah. But so say everything opens 1st of October, but they have to be vaccinated and show certificates and all that before they're allowed into the country.
Correct.
I take it, right? Is that
correct?
I don't know exactly the situation just now, but I mean, what I would see is that what Hua Hin is lacking is also the domestic tourism. So people are very scared. So on the vaccination, people, they're supposed to have these checkpoints, which are imaginary checkpoints, yeah. And start, before you check into a hotel or whatever it is, that they check that person has been vaccinated twice. I think that's the first step. Having international tourists, dream on, because a lot of people are just scared. And it's not just the individual, it's the family. So what I understand even in Phuket is a lot of people are coming in who are already resident and coming back home, and also business people for particular meetings where they have to sign documents and then they leave again. It is not tourists trying to see Thailand. So I think we're...
Not at the moment,
certainly not at the moment. So basically what I'm saying is people that are vaccinated should be allowed to have their holiday or whatever it is. Yeah? Or if they're kids and they haven't been vaccinated because that's not a priority, let them...
but I think
they let them come in.
An important factor of people coming here is they'll feel a lot safer if 70% of the population has been vaccinated. That will give them, even though they've been vaccinated, you still don't want to come into like a war zone, do you, for your holiday, because you still can catch it.
Yeah, but you've got millions of vaccines coming in just now. You just actually explained what the problem was. That girl managed to get a third vaccine, but it should have gone to somebody else. So the whole organisation of this has been a bit of a mess. Now, I know she's first line, which means she should be the first one to be vaccinated. Yeah, absolutely. I think they're bringing things more under control now than it was before. It was an absolute disaster before. Yeah, the foreigners don't feel that they're being pushed back anymore, because they are managing at 75, 60 people within the 7 listings. Chambers are getting involved to organise things, to help.
That has been quite good, I think, and quite successful.
So things are actually in this chaos, creating some form of management. But what people are getting upset at is that, as ever, the people with money are getting it before the people that need it.
Yeah.
And this is
this is absolutely true. Yes, I would agree with that. I think
it's going to sort itself out.
Richard's sort of an expert in Hua Hin because you live there. No, what I'm saying is, 1st of October, what do you think? Do you think that will happen? Do you think it's possible, feasible, 50-50? What would you say out of 10, the chances of that happening? Sorry to put you on the spot.
Yeah, my chair's sunk again. I'm getting lower. What else was I going to say? Yes, I think really it is. Yes, we're going down. I think the chances of them opening in October are pretty slim. I really do. Yeah, if they're going to have international flights coming in, it will be people who are fully vaccinated. But personally, my personal opinion is that they need to vaccinate much more of the population here before they allow flights in.
Okay.
That's my opinion. But I do really think that the Hua Hin Recharge project, has great intention and a lot of drive and hopefully quite a lot of influence to government to get them to, get up off the backside and get things moving. And that is terrific, So hopefully we'll get to the 70, 80% vaccinated in a few months rather than next year.
Yeah, I mean, I think, personally, I think they will open up to an extent in October.
Yeah.
I think they'll have restaurants and they'll allow restaurants to open under certain conditions. Maybe they have 50% occupancy like they did before. Yeah. I think with travel, I think that they will say, and when you check into a hotel, you must show the certificate. So I think they will start it because you have to build up momentum in some form. But international tourism, the market's going to decide that, not just the laws. Yeah.
Well, remember also that Hua Hin Airport has never really been an international airport until this year, when they had a meeting back in April and decided that they will open the airport up to international flights from about a 7-hour radius flight time. So it's new. And the airport can't handle a lot of international traffic at the moment anyway. And probably won't be ready for that until, the middle of next year. But I do see some local flights, international flights, regional international flights being able to come here before that. And this is what I'm hoping will actually happen.
The Kabul airport's probably busier than your new one.
But I also think that what they'll do is that they'll say Phuket. They're talking about 7+7. They're talking about people that are staying in Phuket for 7 days. They'll be able to, after 7 days, they'll be able to go to the islands and go to Samui and places like that. That Hua Hin will be added to that list. So basically, anyone that arrives in Phuket, goes through that quarantine period, can then go to these locations, as opposed to what they were saying before was after 14 days you can leave Phuket and go anywhere in Thailand. I think
nobody's really said. Well, that's not official, and that has not been stated yet. It's not been approved yet. It's a nice idea, but it's not a fact yet. And I do like to differentiate between fact and opinion. Because it's a nice idea. I think we're a bit early to really say that is actually going to happen.
No, I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, I think it will happen, but we don't know yet. Correct.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, shall we move on a bit now off the COVID?
Any happy news?
No, you ain't got any happy news.
Well, I can give you some happy. I've got happy news right here. It says happy news right on my screen here.
Go for it.
I got a friend, David Watson, and he runs the Royal Coast Review, which is an online local news publication. And he's actually done something which is really quite nice and positive. I'm just trying to get the graphic up here. There it is. And he's decided to carry out a survey. And he'd like opinion from people living here or even watching this video. If you go to the Royal Coast Review Facebook page or website, you'll see he's done what he calls a SWOT, S-W-O-T. So basically he's asking 1, 2, 3, 4 questions. So the first one is, what makes the Royal Coast a special place for tourists? Write down your answer on Facebook. Number 2, what tourism challenges do we, sorry, let me read that again. What tourism challenges do we face post-COVID-19? So after COVID-19, what are the challenges for getting tourism back? The third one, opportunity. What are some of the new markets or products that you think might become available after COVID-19? And finally, what problems are looming immediately on the horizon? So,
wow, good question.
If you put that, they're really nice questions. And he's had some very positive responses to that. And if you'd like to have a look, once again, it's Royal Coast Review either on Facebook or .com.
Okay, just look at it at the description
and you can have a look
below.
at that survey.
Yeah, we'll put it on the video.
Yeah, and you can have a look at that survey and answer it if you like. And he keeps writing to me saying, Richard, when are you going to respond? Okay, fine, I will do. So there you go. That's something quite positive.
Yes.
And a lot of local residents have, that look at his Facebook page, have responded with some really good positive comments. Yeah. And I think that's terrific. Yeah. Unlike a lot of the groups that may have gone to, in brackets, Thai visa, and applied their tasteless nonsense. A lot of the people here have been very productive.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the good ideas will come from the private sector, not criticizing the government at all. I wouldn't dare. No. But I think more of the entrepreneurship and the brightness from the private sector will have good ideas, and they should be listened to, sure. And I hope they are.
Yeah. So I think this is a really nice thing. And I think the Royal Coast Review are hoping that the hotel F&B market around here, all the major hotels will also have a look at this and start to think about some of the questions and look at some of the responses and integrate some of that response into their operation.
Excellent. I think that's really positive. That's good. Yeah,
it is positive stuff. It's about the most positive thing I could think of at the moment.
And it's still about COVID.
Yeah. What else has gone on there? That's about it regarding COVID. In other news, I see there was a guy caught in Prambury, which is just south of Hua Hin, a few days ago. The police had been doing their thing, walking around, and stumbled across a bag full of drugs just lying down a little side street. And then they looked up, and then there was a car, which was, I don't know what it was doing, but it was obviously they thought it was suspicious. And they approached people in the car. Two of them managed to run away. One guy got out and ran into a house, and held the owner of the house hostage with a gun for a while. Whoa. And started to negotiate with the police. And then he finally dropped that and went into an empty building, I gather, and continued to negotiate with the police. The police finally contacted that guy's mother, the family, who came down and managed to talk the guy out, who then eventually surrendered to the police.
Whoa.
So that was a bit of an unusual story.
Yeah. With a sort of a happier ending. What happened to the bag of drugs?
No idea. No idea about that.
So when the police were chasing this guy, somebody else came along and stole a bag of drugs.
Yeah, probably.
Well, there you are. Yes, they forgot the drugs, and never mind.
Good story.
What else has happened? Oh yeah. Okay, another good story. Some local officials took a helicopter from here down to Prambury, as they do. And the helicopter was coming into land. Not for the drugs, no. It was coming into land in a field.
Yeah.
And as it flew low over the field, it crossed a lot of street stalls. And the downdraft from the helicopter flattened all of the street stalls, sending, stuff everywhere, all over the streets.
Can you imagine it?
Yeah.
Wow.
So luckily, one of the officials in the helicopter saw what had happened and heard about what happened, and he was able to advise the police to go and help the people clean up and get their stalls back on track again. So that was quite amusing.
Can you imagine, you're selling your somtam and something like that, and then there's a downdraft and everything seems like a hurricane.
Everywhere. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you'd think the pilot would have thought about that, but never mind. Andrew, you got a story?
That's a story that you were talking about. It was the last show we showed about the elephant breaking into the kitchen. And what was it you were saying?
It went viral. There's images about it now and memes about it all, with that elephant sticking his head through a kitchen window. It's gone everywhere.
Yeah, I know. It's gone all over the place, hasn't it, that story? Yes, that's why I avoided it.
Good for...
Yeah, it's good. But it's a regular thing, the elephants do come in from the forests and occasionally, come into the communities and do a bit of damage here and there.
I was going to ask you, just to round things off.
Yeah.
Within Bangkok just now, and for the past few weeks, and I'm not trying to put negative, actually it's a positive thing, everyone was very down and negative. There was an atmosphere of down. Yeah.
You could feel it.
Yeah.
In the air.
And I can actually feel there's more of an uplift now. That there's something. You know, I'm not saying it's back to normal. Yeah. But there's actually a feeling of more optimism. Yeah. In the air.
Good.
Do you find that down there, or is it still absolutely bloody miserable?
I'm not feeling that, actually.
It's a bit flat down here right now. I mean, I did actually talk to a guy yesterday who's organising some activities for kids on the beach tomorrow.
All right, so the beach
and
is
I said,
open.
well, hang on a minute. Yeah, the beach is open. You can go on the beach.
Okay.
But I did say to the guy, hang on a minute. The rules say here a maximum of 5 people. So they're organising activities for children to go down to the beach in groups of up to 5 and play Gaelic football, which is completely mad. Yeah. So they're doing that on the beach tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah.
So good luck to them. You
Yeah.
know?
that's
I mean,
great.
I think all of us old fuddy-duddies, we're all, you know,
not
not
that old.
we're not. Well, you're part of the group. You're on the video. End of. And we're all moaning and sort of like, oh, this is bad and that. I feel sorry for the youngsters because they're missing out on their youth. You know, growing as kids and playing and doing what they do. Now they can't. So you know what I'm saying? And there's probably a lot of screen time going on for these kids,
there will be a lot of
which
screen
can't
time.
be good, you know. So, you know, me especially being older, my life hasn't changed that much, but I do get that feeling of a cloud over everything, whether it be people in England suffering or people in India or whatever. It just gets at you in the end, even though your own personal life isn't over affected.
Yeah,
you know, that's what I'm saying.
I'm not saying it's not there. I just see I just feel there's a little bit of a lift. Maybe it's the opportunity of seeing places like UK getting better as far as the lifestyle. I'm not saying
it's not getting better good cases, is it?
No. But I mean the lifestyle.
Yeah. Football matches.
It's just I just. Yeah, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm.
Well, that's good. Keep up.
Optimist in me coming out. Yeah?
Keep it up. Okay then, Richard.
Well, no, that is good. You know, if there is an improved feel, that certainly is a sign of a little bit of improvement. But I don't think things are going to really change until the restaurants really open again and the shops open.
That's what
fully.
It comes down to.
Yeah, but I know time is a bit tight, so that's about it, is it?
No. Once again, Richard, thank you very much. 3 times lucky. We won't go into that,
Pleasure.
but we finally got the video out. So once again, Richard, thanks for spending some time with us, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
No. Very enjoyable. Enjoyed it today. Thank you very much, Andy and Andrew.
Yeah, thanks for your input, bro.
Cheers.
Enjoyed that.
Bye.